Alright, cool. Today we're making oyakodonburi or oyakadon, whichever way you want to call it. Donburi is just basically like meat or like anything on top of rice, and it's a Japanese dish. But yeah, so first we just start off with, I just deboned a whole chicken leg, took off the skin and deboned it. But yeah, actually I can make that into a video in itself because I deboned the whole chicken leg rather than just the chicken thigh, which I think isn't that common to see tutorials on, so I can do that. But yeah, so I carved the chicken thigh. I like to separate the two sections because normally there's a bigger section and a smaller section, so I separate the two, and then yeah, I just cut them into cubes. But like, you don't want to make it too big because if it's too big it won't cook through, but if it's too small you don't get like the satisfying bite that you want. Yeah, so this is my second video on YouTube. To be honest, I don't know what path I want my channel to go. I could go down like the healthy budget food path, which I'm thinking of because I've been doing that for a while and I feel like that's helpful. Yeah, you see a lot of healthy food and you see a lot of budget type of food, but you don't see them together, so maybe I'll do that. But yeah, you kind of wanted that kind of size, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit smaller, as long as it's generally around that size. And then yeah, you just dice them all up. But you want to, the bones that I cut out and the skin, you want to save that actually, because you could make really good stock with that, and I could also make a video on that. But yeah, but make sure you separate them from the real meat because you don't want to get them mixed up. You don't want like a fatty oyakodonburi. And sometimes you get chicken pieces like this, which are full of tendons, and it looks weird, but you can either just put it in stock or you can just take out the tendons. It's pretty easy. Yeah, so don't get scared by that. Yeah, I also did change my YouTube channel, like profile picture, because I feel like it should represent my channel more. Anyways, yeah, so now we just cut some onions. And yeah, so essentially oyakodonburi is just a dish that like you simmer like sliced onions in this like really nice sauce, which I'll teach you guys how to make after. And you just put the meat and cook the meat in it, and then put eggs on top. It's really simple, and like Japanese cooking tends to be really simple. That's why like whenever you see like YouTube videos of like YouTubers going out to eat in Japan, it tends to be really heavy and like fried, because Japanese like home cooking is so light and healthy, if you could say. But yeah, I'll put like, yeah, so you just slice them. You don't want to cut them too thick or too thin. You just want to be like a normal size, something like, so when it simmers, the flavor of the sauce can go inside the onion, but also not be too thick that you can actually get like the oniony taste. And then you don't actually need too much, like the amount I have on this chopping board is enough. But with the extra onion, you can have more onions in oyakodonburi, or you can just save it for a stock or just use it in another meal. You want to put it in a bowl. Like a tip I would recommend for making this dish is you want to put like all your ingredients in like separate bowls and have it ready with you when you cook, because everything's pretty fast paced. Yeah, so now just crack the egg, beat it, once again put it in a separate bowl, so when you cook, because the cooking process happens so quickly, everything can be cooked at good times. And yeah, when you whisk the eggs in oyakodonburi, they tend to not be like fully whisked, because you want like pieces of egg whites and you want pieces of like yolk, if you get what I mean. Like it's not like one omelette, it's not an omelette. So yeah, I don't whisk it too much, but you want to make sure you season throughout. Like the chicken thighs, I season it with salt and pepper. Obviously you don't season the onions, but you season the eggs with salt and pepper. Yeah, make sure not to put too much like I did, but yeah, I put it back. And you just put like a hefty pinch of salt in there. And then quite a lot of pepper, because Japanese people tend to actually like to use pepper for some reason. Yeah, my grandma does. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the cost and the nutrients, like the calories and the protein of each meal that I make from now on, because I feel like that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. I still need to make shorts, but like, and like TikToks and like reels, but like I don't really know how to make a landscape video into a portrait video without messing up the quality. And like, I'm kind of messing with the POV angle. I like it, and it's like relatively easy to record. But yeah, as you saw, I just put a little bit of oil. That's what my hand gesture was. And then I'm just scrambling to find a Swiss spoon. I always use a wooden spoon. It's so good, but I burnt it a couple times, that's why it's black. Yeah, so you just get the oil heated up. I don't put too much oil in my food because like I just don't really like it that much. I don't like when my food's too oily. Yeah, so you put the onions in and you just saute them slightly until they get a bit translucent. But yeah, to help like the cooking process of onions, you actually put salt on them because it takes out the moisture. So then when they cook faster. So yeah, that's a pretty good tip. And now while they're sauteing, I'm just filling up a bowl full of water because once the onions cook, you put the water in and then you simmer the sauce with it. Yeah, so now that the onions are brownish, like they're not brown to the extent where they're burnt, but they're just slightly caramelized. You put in the water, hot water preferably, because you need to get it to boil eventually. And then you just stir them around, and then the fond from the onions and like the caramelization from the onions should go into the sauce to make it taste better. That's why you want to initially saute the onions, and you just put a little bit of water, and you don't put too much, but you want to put like up to where there's just a thin layer of water on the pan like this. And then this is the most important seasoning in Japanese cooking, dashi no moto, or just dashi. You can find it anywhere in your Asian supermarket. You can get it from Amazon, whatever. But we have a big bag. You can get like small bags. Yeah, you just put a little bit inside. Well, initially with all the things I'm about to put, I only put a small amount inside, so then I can add more later to taste. So the next thing is soy sauce. Yeah, so just a little bit once again. Because the thing with this sauce is really just depends on your taste. It should be slightly sweet, slightly tangy, slightly salty. It tastes good. And then you get an umami flavor from the fish, from the dashi no moto. But yeah, that was rice wine vinegar. Ideally, you want to put mirin, but if you don't have mirin, this works just as well. You put rice wine vinegar and you put like a couple teaspoons of sugar. And then yeah, you taste it. You mix it. The flavors from the onion, the flavors from the soy sauce, the sweetness from the sugar, and then like the sourness from the vinegar should go nicely. And then see, I added some more dashi for a bit more umami flavor, and then some more soy sauce, probably because the rice wine vinegar was too sour. And yeah, if you want a stronger broth, or if you want a weaker broth, add more water. If you want a weaker broth, if you want a stronger broth, add more soy sauce. Or add more everything, to be honest. Yeah, so another path my YouTube channel could take is I could just talk about random things, like random stories, or just random things that's happening in the world right now. Because, I just like to talk. Well, I could just talk. I'm down with that. But obviously, when I'm cooking, I'll explain the steps and why I'm doing the steps. This is a cooking channel. Anyways, you want the sauce to be boiling, so some of the water gets evaporated and the sauce actually becomes stronger. Because once you put the chicken and the egg, it becomes weaker. But yeah, so now I add the chicken. You kind of just want to spread it around at first because you just want it to cook faster. And like, people might think it's weird to put raw chicken in like the sauce you're gonna eat, but trust me, it's safe because we cook the broth so much that all the bacteria will be killed anyways, and it gives the chicken a really nice flavor when you cook it raw. But obviously, we're gonna have to put a lid on top of it, so then the steam can cook it as well as just the pan. But yeah, it just cooks it a lot faster. You want to just stir it around, get the flavors all embedded into the chicken. Yeah, so recently I've been thinking about my target audience. I don't really know what I want it to be. Like, I was thinking maybe like uni students, because once again, I can make cheap budget meals that are healthy, but at the same time, like, then I'm just limiting myself. Like, what about all the like middle-aged or like the older people? Because my cooking's for everyone, it isn't just for like younger people. Anyways, once it's cooked, you can see it's become a lot browner, the chicken, and then the onions have become a lot softer, and then the sauce has also become richer, like in color. It's a lot more brown. You want to put it all in the middle, like you want to stack all the meat in like one big pile. That was the word. And then the reason you do this because when you put the egg on top, like I'm doing now, like you want it to kind of stay on top of the chicken and on top of the onions, rather than just like mixing in with the sauce, because then it makes the sauce all like eggy and like cloudy, and you don't want that. And you put the lid on top, so that it can cook and steam. And to be honest, this is done right now, but I left it to go cut some green onions, and then but yeah, ideally you want it to be like this, and you put it on top of a bowl of rice, and I'm just showing you the sauce there. The sauce is definitely the best part. It tastes so good. You guys actually gotta try it. But yeah, this is done, but I left it on the pan, and it cooked more, like you can see here. And this is good if you like your eggs cooked more, or if you like your chicken cooked more. It still tastes just as good, but it doesn't have that like not liquidy look, but like it has a more of a cooked look. But people would like that, so yeah. And then you just want to make sure you put all the sauce in there though, or depending how much sauce you have. You don't want it to be flooded, of course. And ideally you want to put it on the bowl in like one go. But what I decided to do, I decided to put like the bottom base as like a just whatever, because people aren't going to see that. And then I try to put it intact on the top, so it still looks like an oyakodonburi. You can get specialized pans for oyakodonburi that are like smaller and like thicker, so then no, they're thinner, like the metal's thinner, but so it conducts heat better, and the handles actually stick up in the air. They're actually easier, but this is better if you just have a normal frying pan. Yeah, so to take it up a notch, you can put green onion, spring onion, whatever you want to call it. It just gives it like a little bit of freshness, and to be honest, it tastes great. Like, I always garnish with spring onion or coriander. Coriander tastes good as well. But I heard like 50% of people think it tastes like soap, which is a bit weird, but apparently it's like a genetic thing. But yeah, that's the oyakodonburi done. Looks beautiful, and it tastes even better. Bye.